You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Hey, I guess tonight on An Hour with Bob, Molly Andrade, Miss Rhode Island, America, and Caroline Parente, Miss Outstanding Teen, along with my good friend, the mayor of Johnston, Rhode Island, Mr. Joe Polisena. Stay with us. Folks, and welcome to another edition of An Hour with Bob. We are in our 29th year of An Hour with Bob. May 29th was my 28th anniversary, so this is year 29. I can't believe it. I can't believe I lasted that long. So you know what I did, just to kind of spruce it up a little bit? I brought on a co-host. I got a good friend of mine. You'll recognize him anyway. He's the mayor of Johnston, Rhode Island. His name is Joseph, or it's Joe Polisena.
Joseph, sure.
How you doing, Joe?
Thank you, Robert. Nice to see you, Bob. It's always a pleasure. Robert, Bob.
Bob.
They call me Joe. They call me Joseph, but it's.
What do you prefer?
Joe's fine.
Joe's
My
fine?
son is Joseph, so we have to differentiate.
Oh, you have to differentiate.
Yeah.
Is he a junior?
He's a junior.
He's
yeah.
a junior.
If not, we all turn our heads when someone calls our name.
Oh, of course, of course.
So we know. So, but thank you. It's an honor to be here, by the way. It really is, and to be a co-host. That's huge. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I've only done it a couple of times in 28 plus years.
I will go down in the history of An Hour with Bob as being the second co-host, which is big.
The first guy, male co-host,
Okay,
for sure.
all right,
I know
okay.
that. I've done a few.
Okay.
A few
So I'm the
females
first.
in 28 years, 29 years.
That's great.
You know who was my co-host one time? She is now the anchor on the 6 and the 11 o'clock news in WCBS in New York City.
Really?
Yes. Christine Johnston.
Oh yeah, I remember
love
the name.
that
Yeah.
girl.
Yes.
She was on the show 3 times.
Wow,
Before
okay.
she made it big.
Yeah.
And I had told her, and I made the craziest prediction. I had said to her, first of all, I said, who's running that station anyway? She was 5 years before she got in front of a camera.
Really?
Yeah, she was always doing the phone calls, calling the
yep,
cities and
sure.
towns to see what's going on, the police stations or whatever. 5 years before they gave her a shot in front of the camera.
Wow.
And I said, who's running that? Ronnie Millsap and Ray Charles, are they running that show over there? 2 blind guys?
I know who they are, absolutely. Good singers, though.
Anyway, yeah, exactly. Anyway, I said to her at one point, I said, you know, I can see you in the next few years filling in for Katie Couric. And do you know, she filled in for Katie
Really?
Couric. She got hired. She got called. What happened was some guy was visiting from California, and he was down the Cape, and the show aired in Howard, down the Cape. And this guy saw the show, and he called his brother, who was an agent in California. He goes, "Oh my God, you got to see this girl. She's got a personality.
Yeah,
she
sure.
looks good. And, you know, it's like a screen test."
Absolutely.
So they contacted her, and she was hired by NBC, WNBC, or MSNBC.
MSNBC,
They give her a
okay.
late night show.
Wow.
Right? And that went on to become late night. She was working late night. Then she calls me one day. She goes, "You'll never believe this. I'm filling in for Katie Couric tomorrow morning."
That's huge. That was great. Do you still keep in touch? Emails?
No, I haven't heard from her in a while. I haven't.
See what happens when they get famous?
I know. They leave. They go. And then Catherine Tappan was on Channel 10. She was like she was the weekend sportscaster for Channel 10.
Yes. Yeah, I remember her.
And she came on. I did a show with her down in the waterfront, just her and I, like on a date, a dinner. We weren't on a date, but it was like a date.
Yeah, sure.
And, you know, talked about her career and her life and college and all that stuff. And it ended up, she used that, and she got hired by Channel 7, and then she went to Nesson, and now she does a whole bunch of sports stuff. And then she calls me one day. She says, "Can you do me a favor?" She's my friend. Can you get her on the show? I'd like to put her on the show, right? So I have her on the show. A few months later, she gets hired by Channel 7. Now she's on the Today Show.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Her name's Dylan Dreyer.
Oh, yeah, Dylan, sure.
Yeah.
The weather, with the weather forecast.
Yeah, she was number 5 weather person on Channel 10. She was number 5.
I remember her on Channel 10. So, did she forget you? I'm hoping these two ladies don't forget us when they become famous, by the way.
Well, we'll get to them in
But
a
I
second.
hope they don't forget us. Now.
Yeah, I know.
When they become famous and they're in Vegas, at least invite us out for
Vegas.
Pick a couple of slot machines. Well, that's where all the stars go.
Speaking of Vegas, Terry Fady, you know who he was?
No.
He won the first America's Got Talent.
Oh,
and,
okay.
And I
yes.
interviewed him before he was big.
Yeah.
And he invited me. He said, "You got to come out to Vegas." He said, "I'll take care of you." Don't you think I go out there one time? And he was on vacation in Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, Matt Franco's from Johnston. He won
I saw him.
He's great.
I saw him.
He was great
in Vegas. I went to see him.
Yep, he's great. He really. We're very proud of him in Johnston. We really.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. And by the way, that's why I started the show years ago.
Yeah.
Was because
get
there's so
discovered.
much talent that the state has in all facets, and there was nobody playing it up. You know, I go back to the Arthur Guthrie days.
Yeah, I remember,
and the Sullivan.
Ed Sullivan.
Ed Sullivan days, and you know, you would bring up the talent, build up the talent, and we had nobody to do it.
No.
So that's how I started the show and why I started the show.
Well, it's worked out for many people.
It has.
But we're still here.
We're still here. We're still here in Pawtucket, Rhode Island.
All right.
Look who's with us tonight, though.
That's right.
We got Miss. Who's that? Miss.
That's Miss Rhode Island Outstanding
Team.
Yep.
And she's from where?
She is from South
Kingston,
Kingston.
Rhode
Caroline
Island?
Parente, welcome.
Thank you.
Hi, Caroline. And also with us is Miss Rhode Island, America, and that's Molly.
Molly.
Do you know Molly?
Yeah,
Andrade.
Well, I know Molly's dad. Molly's
do?
dad. Yes, from my years as a senator, he worked for at the time Lieutenant Governor Charlie Fogarty, and now he was for the Department of Education. He's a great guy, and he's a person of his word. He's always been a nice guy. So
that's important,
yeah,
you know,
it's very
especially the
important.
guys like us.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy.
Absolutely.
And
Thank you.
with a small world, though. We started
Right?
talking before the show, and she said who she was, and she said her dad works for the Department. I said, "Andy, I know Andy. Good guy.
Wow.
Great guy.
How
Small
cool
world.
is
Small
that?
world.
It is very small. Very small.
Yeah, but yeah, and you know, speaking as small as this state is, I had a few weeks ago as one of my guests, I had the former head of the state police, who, when he was a state trooper before he was the head, was undercover with the mob.
Steve O'Donnell.
Steve O'Donnell.
Great guy.
Unbelievable
Great guy. Great guy.
But it's amazing. In this little state, he got away with it.
Yeah.
Wow.
They didn't put it together.
Especially an Irish guy getting involved with the mob.
Yeah, yeah. You can't be a made man if you're not Italian. You can't be made, right? You got to be Italian.
He was a cop's cop, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
He was a great law enforcement person, Steve O'Donnell. He really was, and he was an influence on my son too. My son had played lacrosse at St. Philip's, so
he's into that.
He's great.
Absolutely.
He's very good, but he's a great guy. He really is. Really is.
Yeah, yeah. So let's talk about these young ladies today. Why don't you ask the first question?
Certainly. So Caroline Parente from South Kingston, first of all, congratulations
Thank
on
you.
obviously
Thank
being
you very
crowned.
much.
Why did you decide to get into the pageant? I know there's a lot of work involved, and you got to stay up on your studies, of course, because you're still in high school. Is that correct? So what made you decide to get involved?
Well, it's actually a pretty crazy story. The Miss Rhode Island's Outstanding Teen from 2018 was actually my best friend in preschool, Macy Johnston. So it's crazy. It's kind of proves just how small the state is, how small the world is. But we didn't really stay in touch when we got older because we lived in different towns, so we didn't really communicate. But then through social media, I saw that she had won this title, and I just also saw how confident it made her and how amazing she was making
You saw the
positive
difference
change
in
our
her,
state.
huh?
Oh, definitely, definitely. So I knew that instantly that it was something that I wanted to be a part of.
And it was obviously new to you, so how did you learn what you had to do to obviously become a contestant?
Oh, yes. It was very new to me. I had never been in a pageant before this.
I was going to ask you that.
She won it her first time.
First time. Wow.
Congratulations.
That's amazing.
Well, the great part about the Miss America organization now is that you don't have to be a seasoned pageant girl to win. And you can be a seasoned pageant girl to win. They really are just looking at you as a person instead of your experience, which is great. So that definitely allowed me to be where I am today.
Fantastic.
Well, how did you get so with it? With your,
You're very well spoken.
you
obviously.
can handle yourself,
Very articulate.
well.
And you're not shy.
Present yourself. You're not shy. Yeah.
Thank you. I would credit that mainly to why I got involved with my platform, and that's my work with Community Anti-Drug Coalitions of America, or
Excellent.
CADCA. I'm a youth trainer for them, so I get to go around the country and teach youth how to implement their own developed action plans into their communities to fight substance abuse. So I think that's definitely helped me because I get to speak to our senators. I really get out of my comfort zone when I speak into a bunch of kids, so it's great.
Great.
Wow.
Fabulous.
Wow.
Isn't she fantastic?
Wow. Yeah, I'm impressed. And I'm sure everybody else was. And I've judged the pageants before.
Really?
And I see that one of the biggest parts for me is how you handle the one-on-one question and answer. Because you do you did a one-on-one with the judges, right?
Yes, we have an interview.
They talk to you and they see how you react and how you handle yourself, and that's part of it. That's part of the thing. It isn't just a beauty pageant.
Right.
It's how sharp you are.
Absolutely.
And you've got that down pat.
Thank you.
And who we got here? Molly.
We have Molly. Yep.
Hi, Molly.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Yes, Molly Andrade is from where?
Middletown.
Middletown, Rhode Island. Andrade. Now that's a strong name in Rhode Island.
Oh,
Andrade's
yeah.
a
Real Portuguese.
Portuguese name in Rhode Island. Middletown, Rhode Island. Did you go to Middletown High School?
I did. I graduated in 2017.
And I said off camera that when my brother was a basketball player years ago, we played against Middletown. I think the shortest guy on the team was the water boy.
Really?
Oh, yeah, they were all 6'4", 6'7", 6'6". Huh?
Yeah, we got
What
some
is
tall
it?
ones. There must be something in the water.
It's got to be. It's something. It's got to be something because it was amazing to try to play against a team like that. They won it, by the way, that year.
Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
No surprise there.
Very polite. She's very polite.
Now, as far as pageants go, how about you?
This
where
was
do you
my
start?
third year competing, so third
Yep.
time was the charm.
Yes.
And it has just been such a great experience. Just like Caroline said, there's so much more than just winning because only one girl is going to take away the crown. So what are you
Right.
going to get from the experience? And for me, I've always loved public speaking, getting outside my comfort zone, trying something new. And I hope one day, well, I have a lot of political aspirations in the future, so I thought it'd be a great idea to get the ball rolling, the networking opportunities, but also being comfortable speaking in front of people and just getting that exposure.
Well, you got that down, huh?
Both of them.
Thanks.
Wow.
Both of them, yeah.
Now, you said in the future you want to be in politics?
Yeah, so right now I just finished my sophomore year at Endicott College, and my degree is going to be in business management and political science. And I hope one day to run for public office. And that was all inspired when I was in 4th grade. We had to write a report about someone we admired. And like a typical 4th grader, I wrote mine about the governor. At the time, it was Governor Kachiri. And
Yeah.
as you said, my dad works at the Department of Education as a lobbyist. And I wrote on my Christmas list that I wanted to meet him. It was the only thing I wanted.
Really?
And my
Really?
parents, yeah, I know,
That's
so odd.
odd.
No,
So my mom was like,
that's
"It's
great.
free, make it happen."
Check
Yeah,
off.
right, real quick. So
I'm sure Dad could make that
oh
happen.
yes, my dad's like, all right. So he did, and I remember how pivotal that experience was. He was so kind. I can only imagine how busy he was. It was during
Sure.
the holiday season, but he took the time to meet with me, let me sit in his chair, to take me around, give me a little tour. And, he could have just brushed me off, but he was so welcoming. And I remember now as a title holder, little kids who they come up to me to make sure that I make that experience as positive as possible.
Right, you don't brush them off.
Right,
Like
absolutely.
we had talked about before,
Yep.
a former governor that he'll go unnamed, of course, but he wasn't, I had asked him to take a picture with some people, and he didn't want to do it. And I said to him, no, you got to take this picture. This is
Yeah.
a good picture. And he wasn't in the mood for it, I guess. He took the picture. I made him take the picture, but that will happen.
Yeah.
And you as a pageant holder, kids look up to you.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it's important to them.
It is, and I mean, a lot of times people might be like, oh, I've had a long day, I've done this, this, and this, but to that child, they don't know that and they don't care, and they're so excited to see you, and that's this one moment they have with Miss Rhode Island, and it's one they can remember, and you want to make sure that's a positive experience, definitely.
Very good.
Well, you know, speaking of political aspirations, you know, this man is the mayor of Johnston, but before that, he was a state senator, right?
Correct, yeah.
He was a state senator before that. And also before that, he worked on the fire department, on the rescue squad.
Yes, we were talking about that before we started. Yes.
Yeah.
Incredible.
I've had a good run, as they say.
What a great co-host we have.
Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, talk about versatility.
But I encourage young people to get involved in politics. My son ran last year for the first time and won, and he is the vice president of the Johnston Town Council.
Wow, incredible.
So,
Congrats. You must be so proud.
I was proud swearing him in the night I swore him in.
Yeah,
Inauguration.
yeah.
You were there, as a matter of fact.
Yeah.
And swearing him in was nice. So I was very proud of him. So, but I encourage young people to get involved in politics, absolutely, because it's right now it's your community, it's your state, it's your government. So it's important that you do get involved, and we need younger people to actually run for office. And when you're ready to run, come and see me, I'll tell you, because I ran against an incumbent that was there, and no one thought I'd win. And
Now, who was that? Who was that?
his name was Mr. Achado,
Oh, that's right.
and that's all I'll say.
That's
And I won. Well, you never talk bad about people,
Yeah,
so that's
absolutely.
why. So, but it was, and I see him I say hello to my friends with him now.
Right.
I see him, I say, hi, Senator. But, I ran and no one thought I'd win. But I think what helped me when I ran was I figured out later on, my son was about 4, and I used to take him with me, my wife and I, because I wanted to spend time with my family. So we'd push him around the carriage. Needless to say, he had more cookies and soda because we'd go to someone's house and they'd feed him. But anyway, I walked the whole town, and I'd say about 65% of the doors I knocked on, I either delivered their baby, resuscitated their mother or father on the rescue, pulled their cat out of a tree, because I was a fireman for many years.
You were a friendly face.
Or I was a nurse and I worked at the former St. Joe's Hospital in Providence when they had the emergency room. So,
Really?
Yeah, so I would see people. So people knew who I was. And I wasn't supposed to win, but I did. And I knew really nothing about it. I barely knew where the State House was, because when we used to go on field trips when I was young, I used to bunk and stay out that day. Don't tell my mother, because she's up in heaven watching.
Yeah.
But I encourage you to get involved, because you got great personalities for it. You seem like you're fixed in knowing what you want to do.
Yeah,
And it's about
yeah.
helping people. That's what it's all
Absolutely.
about.
You got your head on straight. Is
Yes.
the most important thing.
Absolutely.
Now, you say St. Joe's. When were you at St. Joe's?
In the 80s, and then what happened was they closed it. I worked in the emergency room there.
My son was in a coma in that hospital
Really?
for 10 days. He was in the hospital for 35
Oh, my
days. He
God.
got hit by a car. Yeah.
Really?
We thought he was dead. Well, they gave him the last rites either 4 or 5 times from
my
the
God,
time
that's
it happened in Pawtucket.
Yeah.
They gave him the last rites at the scene. They resuscitated him with the paddles.
Yeah.
And they resuscitated him in the hospital, in the accident
God.
room in Memorial. And
They
then
transferred
the
him-
guy, get this one, I'm standing behind the door watching them in the trauma room, and this doctor and fortunately the firemen, they knew me. And what happened was, it's an awful thing to say, but it's an awful thing that happened. The doctor, zapped him a couple times and nothing happened. Bounced off the bed like you see on TV.
Sure.
And the doctor takes the sheet and he covers him and he walks away. And the fireman, one of the firemen goes, "Doc, why don't you try it again? Turn it up." He goes, "No, he's all done. It's over." He goes, "Doc, give it one more shot." And he just didn't want to listen. He was writing out his the order, right?
Yeah.
The rescue guys pulled the sheet down. They turned the machine up higher, and they zapped them again. And then you saw the
Beep,
go from
beep,
here,
beep, yeah.
beep, 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 beep.
Wow.
And he come running back over like a hero. And I went running out to who's the head nurse? Yeah, I said, I want him to F out of this hospital as soon as he's stabilized. And I had him shipped to
St. Joe's.
with a rescue squad. I had him shipped to St. Joe's Hospital in a coma. Nothing. You could open his eyes, and his eyeballs were rolling. And that was the scariest time.
And back then, St. Joe's was known for their neurology department.
Right,
So they were
right.
very good.
That's why I wanted him there.
Yeah.
That's why I brought him there.
No.
His name was Dr. Russo, the doctor he
Yeah,
had.
yeah, absolutely. I know who he is. Absolutely.
Really?
I know he was. Yeah, absolutely. Dr. Russo. Yeah, it was a good hospital back then. Now there's obviously Rhode Island Hospital, there's the trauma center, obviously, and they give very good care. And you've got Hasbro, of course. But things have evolved over the years. when I was, you know, of course, I was about 30 pounds lighter, and my hair was as long as yours, believe it or not.
30 pounds.
And I had hair.
That color too?
No, it was your color hair, so it was as long as yours. But as I said, I enjoyed myself, and still to this day, I hold my nursing license. I do a lot of volunteer stuff. And as I teach at the Community College of Rhode Island, I teach the EMT program. So
Pretty amazing, all the stuff this guy has done.
I had a
It
good
really
run.
is. Now, what are you doing for work?
So right now, my full time is Miss Rhode Island, which is so
Ooh,
exciting.
yes.
But I'm also a waitress at the Atlantic Grill. My uncle owns the restaurant,
Okay.
and I've been there. You know, started
Where
as
is that,
a busser.
Atlantic Grill?
It's in Middletown, Rhode Island. Yeah. So I started as a a busser, worked my way up from a hostess. Now I'm a waitress,
Good for
and
you.
I love it.
Good for you.
Yeah, yeah.
It's fun.
Carol, do you work? I mean, know you
Yes, I
said-
do.
What
I
you
work at Brickley's Ice Cream in
Oh, okay.
Wakefield.
Oh, I love
All
it.
right, all right.
I love Brickley's.
Me too.
They have great ice cream.
Yeah. Now, now, do you have public service you have to perform with your title? So obviously you're involved in that coalition for the obviously the drugs. Is that correct?
Yes.
That you lecture to kids on the obviously the hazards of drugs.
Yes. So as title holders, we develop a platform to implement into our states. And my platform is called The Power of Youth, with an emphasis on you. And it focuses on empowering youth to take action against substance abuse in their own communities, because youth often don't realize how powerful their voices really are. So that goes hand in hand with my work with CADCO, where I get to travel around the country and do it on a nationwide
That's
scale.
amazing.
That's
yeah.
fabulous.
Thank you.
You know, and drug abuse affects any family. The
whole family.
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick story. In 1986, I was on the rescue, and they said, respond to 51 Pinewood Avenue. I said, oh dear, that's my mother's house. I found my younger brother dead from a drug and alcohol overdose, and I did resuscitate him. But he had, and that's what bothers me now, where they want to legalize marijuana, and marijuana is a gateway drug.
Sure.
And I believe in medical marijuana. I was a strong supporter of that when I was a senator. But to legalize it, but my brother started off with alcohol, then that, and then went to other hard drugs. So, I mean, he is still alive. I don't talk to him, but that's beside the point. That's a family issue. But it could happen to any family. People don't realize, especially now with the opioid crisis, which the younger generations yourself, as young women, you can help and advise kids and even adults. Listen, there's different ways to go besides getting involved with the opioids, because it's killing our brothers and sisters, not only in the state but in this country.
Yeah,
and it's
everywhere.
terrible.
Awful.
It's terrible.
There's such a negative stigma
Yep.
around substance abuse that everyone thinks they're safe from it, but no one really
No
is.
one's safe.
No one.
That's a
Absolutely no
very
one.
good point.
Exactly. And everybody thinks that, or not everybody, but a lot of people think that this marijuana thing is okay. It's a good thing. It's not a good thing.
It's not.
It's not a good thing because it is a gateway drug. They'll tell you it's not, but it is.
If you talk to most counselors, they'll tell you that it's a gateway drug. The legitimate
100%.
good counselors, drug counselors, they'll tell you it's a gateway drug. So I'm kind of, as we tape this show, I'm very happy that it doesn't sound like they're going to legalize it, which is a good
this
thing.
year. But the
Well,
problem
I
with it
understand.
is when they see the money coming in Massachusetts, but they don't. What they're not adding in how much extra it costs in social policies, how much it costs for extra cops and extra medical people and whatever.
And the stigma too. I mean, people have a difficult time once they get hooked, as we all know. And now, they lose their job. Now, the ones that get obviously back on their feet, it's difficult to get back into the job market.
Yep.
So,
Well, when I was going around with Dan McKee, we're going around to different businesses around the country, manufacturers, whatever, and we were down at a company that teaches welding
Yep.
for people to work at Electric Boat, and they get paid very good money to work at Electric Boat. Do you know that, and I know you know this, that most of the people that do that and learn how to weld or whatever, they can't get a job. You know why? They failed the drug test.
Really?
yeah.
Same thing with truck drivers. That's why there's a shortage of truck drivers. That's why they're putting themselves out of business, because what's going to happen is eventually there's going to be no truck drivers. They're going to be riding on their own.
It's funny for him to say that, because as mayor, we obviously we have sometimes a turnover in the Department of Public Works, and they have to have what they call a CDL license.
Right.
And you have to pass a drug test. It's a federal law. I can't get people I can't hire people because none of them can pass a drug test, both men and women. So it's something though that's going to rest with your generation, that you have to fight now, start fighting now.
Exactly.
To say, listen,
Start
enough
at
is
the
enough.
source.
Enough is enough. So, but that's great that you're involved in that program. So
Thank you.
that's near and dear to me. That's really, really good, really good.
what what awards did you receive in the competition in Miss Rhode Island?
So other than winning Miss Rhode Island, I won the Community Service Award, which is given, each state competition gets the academic and the Community Service Award. That's granted a $1,000 scholarship by Miss America.
Cool.
And I won the Community Service Award, and I was also fortunate enough to win the dance, the Overall Talent Award, Miss Congeniality, which was so incredibly humbling.
You won all of them?
Yes, and I won the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals Miracle Maker. So I raised the most money for the Children's Miracle Network Hospitals.
Wow, that's unbelievable.
Wow, that's like 5. I'm counting 5. Did I hear 5 awards?
You must take after your mother.
Yeah.
Don't tell your dad.
Don't tell your dad that. No.
That's fantastic.
It was incredibly humbling.
Wow, that's impressive.
Yeah.
That is impressive. Did anybody else get any awards?
Yes, yes.
Were there any left?
Yes, the great thing about the Miss America Scholarship Organization is that it's not a winner takes all. So you don't have to win Miss Rhode Island to get scholarship money and scholarship support. Right. So there's a lot of other people who are also granted that opportunity.
Now, Miss America versus the other
USA.
One is a talent award.
Yeah, so we have a talent, and we don't have swimsuit, and they have a swimsuit competition. So they're two separate.
But they don't have any talent.
They don't have. Don't say it like that. Don't twist my words now, Bob. Real carefully.
He was good. He's good.
Yeah.
They
don't have a talent competition. Yeah. Watch yourself.
Yeah. That was good.
I said that one.
But don't forget, she caught you, so she's even sharper.
I know. I know. I said that one night.
This isn't my first rodeo.
That's right.
Yeah, I gather. I'm joking, folks. They have a lot. Some of those girls have a lot of talent too. It's just,
absolutely.
It's a different program.
Yeah, it's just a different system.
Now, what would happen? You could also vie in the future for that.
Yeah. So
pageant,
they
right?
have. I'm not sure.
There's
I think
a crossover. There's no crossover penalty.
No, there are two separate competitions, and they have different age and different requirements.
Right.
So if I was still eligible, technically, I could.
Well, speaking of age, what is the maximum age for your?
25.
Oh, it is 25.
So I won on the younger end. I started when I was 18.
Wow.
So the first year I competed, I was first runner-up. I had never competed before. I was so excited, and it was so incredibly humbling to be, holding hands with the winner, waiting to announce who would be the new Miss Rhode Island. It was so funny because I love watching pageants, so I've watched them a lot before, and I feel like I've always had the sense of being able to chosen the winner. And when I met this girl, her name was Nicolette, we're good friends now, and I hadn't seen any of the other girls. I met her. I didn't even really have a conversation. I said, she's going to be the winner. She just has everything. She just embodies everything the organization stands for. Right. And so
in other words, you didn't mind coming in second to her?
No, I mean, I didn't think I would, honestly, make it that far because it was my first year. There were so many girls. They were all accomplished. They had graduated college. I was still in high school. And so I was really just embracing the experience.
You were young.
I was young. It was my first year, the first year of eligibility. So to, right?
It'd be like this one next year.
So for the first year to be first runner-up, and we were holding hands, waiting to see who would be called Miss Rhode Island, and I told her, don't cry, it'll ruin the pictures. Like, it's your moment, and this
you're
it's your
telling
time.
her that.
And it could have been either name called. And because of that moment, I love to share that story because it really does shatter the stereotypes around, pageantry and these types of competition, and it's not the cattiness that it is perceived to be. And because of that, we've been so supportive. She's now a New England Patriots cheerleader. She just made the team for the second year in a row.
Wow.
And it's just been a complete journey. So the next year I came back, and because I'd been first runner-up, everyone's like, oh, you're going to win, because where else do you improve? And I'd make top 5. And so for me, it was...
You went from number 2
to not making top 5. And so for me, it was just embracing...
It's the judges is what it is.
No, it was just embracing failure. And knowing that if you really want something, you're not always going to succeed no matter how hard you try sometimes. You have to be able to lose in order to feel like you really want something, so you're going to get back up and keep going.
You can't appreciate the win unless you've
because
lost.
Even, outside of pageantry and in jobs, whatever, failure is inevitable. Like, let's be real, people fail all the time, and if you've never learned how to cope with that, you're never going to be successful because you're not going to know how to overcome obstacles. So when I came back this year, and the reason I did was we have a princess program, and I had my princess ran it for the past year, and I wasn't going to compete again this year. And she's like, oh, I won't do it without you. And I knew there were so many opportunities for her to gain confidence in the public speaking skills that I couldn't deny her those opportunities. So we decided we would do it together. We came back for a third year, and I won. And it was just so rewarding. I knew going to the interview, I felt such a, a calmness within me that I was so ready to take on the job of Miss Rhode Island, and if they didn't see that.
And they did see it.
And they did.
You
It was.
You projected. You predicted.
So,
how did it feel like, unlike the first time?
Oh my gosh.
When you knew you won, or you thought you weren't going to win, and you didn't end up winning. But this time, when your name was called.
I mean, it was so surreal. I remember, I always tell people, you don't want to cry when you get when you don't want to cover your face. They always tell you all these things, and I'm like, oh gosh, you want good pictures. They're about to call Miss Rhode Island, and because of all the awards, I kind of knew that, I had a chance to be up in the top, and the judges have their phones out and they're recording.
So you thought you were going to win this time.
I didn't until the very end when they'd already called all the runners up, and I was one of the only ones standing, and.
Now, is it true when you're standing there and it's like you and another girl and you're looking at it face to face and you're going, oh, I wish you luck, and I'm
so typically, like I said, the first year I did say that. I said, it's going to be your year. It was your time. It was so meant to be for her. But the past 2 years, the way they've done it is they actually keep us all in a line, and then they call out top 5 from there.
Right, yeah.
So you really have no idea. Everybody's in it until the last second. And so we had no idea, but I knew because I had won the talent award that I had a chance to be in the top 5 because that's 50% of the competition. So as we're getting closer and we're counting down 4th, we're up 3rd, and we're getting closer, I realized that, it could be me. Wow. And as they're saying, the new Miss Rhode Island 2019 going to Miss America, and they say, and just so overwhelming. And I knew all of the years of hard work and dedication and the failure and the perseverance had just.
You bawled your eyes out.
Oh my God, I was like so bad, so bad.
Face.
Everything you should not do, I did, Bob. It was. I mean, the pictures are terrible, but I don't even care.
Right. You won.
I felt so bad for the photographer. I'm like, listen, Daniel, he's our photographer. I'm like, I'm sorry, I made your job so much more difficult. I'm like. But it was just, I wouldn't take it back. It was an out-of-body experience. It's the best way to describe it. I just took it all in. I had 25 friends and family there. And then to, now have experience this year with Caroline is, it's just an incredible.
I lucked out so much getting her as my older sister for this.
That's great.
So inspiring.
So Caroline Parente from South Kingstown, who is Miss Rhode Island's outstanding teen. What do you want to be remembered for after? Because it's good for a year, right? Your crown and your reign is good for 1 year.
Yes.
Right. So what do you want to be remembered for as being so young and obviously you're both very mature, but at 17 years old, at 17 years old I guess I was kind of mature, but you guys are really mature.
Yeah.
And what do you want to be remembered for?
Well, like I said, that we have a platform that we build throughout the year. I want to be remembered for helping the youth of our state develop their own platforms as well and find something that they really care about and to take action on it and go into their state and take action. So I want my year not to be about my own platform, but about helping youth find their own too.
That's great. Now, are you a junior?
Yes.
So you got 1 more year. Do you know what you want to do when you graduate? Do you know what college?
Yes, I do.
Of course she does.
I don't know what I want to do.
She's got a life plan now.
Well, that's good. That's good. What would you like to do?
Ultimately, I'd like to gain a Juris Doctor and a Master's in Global Studies and International Relations, and I definitely want to work for the government, either intelligence or foreign affairs.
Wow.
It's funny you say that because I get up every morning at 3:30, and you never know it, but I do walk. I walk the streets of my neighborhood.
You do?
Yes, I do.
Have you been arrested a few times?
Not yet, but I've seen some Fisher cats and some wild animals running. But anyway, I keep headphones on and I can pick up my television station. And they were saying either yesterday or I think it was yesterday how the FBI, they can't find obviously enough young men and women because but someone like yourself, and it's not just law enforcement, it's lawyers. They're looking for accountants, and they I think they have like 900 people that they end up sending through the academy, the FBI academy. But it's a really, you're serving your country, but also it's a great job, and you have to think of that.
Great career.
Great career. And you can be proud. So we might see you someday in the FBI, hopefully on TV and not covering us. None of that. But seriously, so that's great. So you know what you want to do. You know what college you'd like to go to?
I'm definitely a city girl, so I've been looking a lot at New York and DC, those kind of areas.
Yeah.
So.
Your parents must be a little nervous when you leave, right?
Yes, they told me I have to take a self-defense class.
Yeah.
But
oh, yeah. Now, how many in your family?
I have 2 sisters.
Older,
I'm in the middle.
Oh, you're the middle one?
2 years on either side.
Wow.
And you?
I have an older sister. She just graduated from college. And then I have twin brothers who are younger than me. They're 16.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Boy,
Handful with breeding.
So you're the middle too.
I am. We're both in the middle.
We're both middle kids.
You're a poor mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, she's the best. She makes it work.
That's what I'm saying. Well, she's got her hands full, right? And your dad too. We got to give you credit to your dad. Because I know your
Just a
dad.
little bit.
He's a good. He's a
little
good
bit.
guy.
A little bit.
He's a great guy.
Something. What month of the year were you born? What month?
March.
April.
March and April.
Wow, look at that.
Right,
Back
it's
to
meant
back.
to be.
What are you, both Aries? Are you?
I'm an Aries.
I'm an Aries too.
Oh my
I didn't
God.
realize that until now.
And you didn't know that though, did you? Both Aries?
No.
You learn something new every day on an hour with Bob.
Everybody learns something on an hour. Bob, something will come out in the course of the show. On the road to your going for this for the third time, did you say, I'm going to do it this year? This is it for me.
I think my whole family was. At this point, they're like, all right, Molly, let's do this. And it was definitely a family affair. You know, I go to school at Endicott College, so that's 2 hours away. And they would pick me up and take me to rehearsals. And the whole time, we'd be going over current events, practicing interview questions, you know, practicing for my dance talent. You know, my dad, it was so funny. We just talked about over Father's Day how, you know, my family is not, you know, the typical pageant family at all, but they've really just embraced and supported me, you know, whatever we pursue. And so he would call me up weekly, be like, all right, how are we doing on the talent? I'm like, I draw the line when he asks about my hair and makeup. I'm like, that is so not your area. So not your area.
Yeah, but Dad has a right to
No,
do that.
oh my God, no, the best. And I'm just so lucky that I had 25 friends and family come to support me at the pageant. And
That's amazing.
and they said, Molly, you know, this year, we are not here because, you know, the pressure's on you to win. We're here because of you, and we love you no matter what the outcome is.
Sure.
And you're our Mr. Island. If they see that, great. If not, we still love you. And so
Where was the pageant held?
it was in Providence.
Oh, okay.
At the Bishop McVinney
Oh,
Auditorium.
yes, okay, great.
Both of them, right? Your
Yep,
pageant too?
they're
Yes,
held
they were
together.
together.
So she was crowned, and then I was crowned, and the rest is history.
Wow.
It's great that they're together because we've done
Right.
almost everything together. So we've
Did you know each other, Carolyn, before you got involved in this?
At rehearsals, we had met each other, but we
Okay.
weren't really familiar with each other until right after we were crowned.
Cool.
Now we get to do everything together. It's so much fun.
Cool. You become, obviously, you got a bond together, you got friends.
Yeah, I mean, obviously
Kind
you
of like
have,
big sister, right? She's a couple years
Exactly.
older.
Definitely.
I mean, you never know who you're going to be paired with.
Sure.
Obviously, we don't know who the judge
Right,
will see,
yeah.
but I mean, obviously the judge chose the right person. And
Both
the-
Aries, too.
Right? I know. They're just meant to be. But it's just been such a great pairing. We always say, like, we're the complete opposite. She's got the dark hair. I mean, I have the dark hair. She's the light hair. And she's taller than me, but we won't talk about that.
You won't talk about that. Well, we established you're Portuguese. What ancestry?
For my dad's side, I'm Italian, but for my mom's side, I'm mostly English, very European.
And Polish, too, right?
Yes, I've got Polish in me.
What did your parents think when you decided that you wanted to start this? Were they like, if that, you know, and some parents are supportive, some are not. Were they supportive? Because you have to have your parents and your family on your side. Like you
Oh,
said earlier.
Like you, yeah.
I don't know if you guys are familiar with the TV show The Middle, but there's a character on it named Suhek, and she signs up for just about everything. And my family calls me the Suhek of the
Oh,
family
okay.
because I sign
You
up
sign
for
up
just
just
about
about
everything.
I love that.
Cool.
So when I decided to do the pageant, they were like, "Oh, here we go again." But then they saw how serious I was about it and how, and they've been so supportive.
That's
They've
excellent.
just been there for me every step of the way. So it's great.
And
And
your
seeing the
sib-
growth in her.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. I've
Now,
completely
was your father also asking about your makeup?
a little bit. He's grown up with 3 daughters, so he knows how to do hair. He knows how to
Poor
braid.
guy.
And
Dad,
he's outnumbered.
He's outnumbered. Yes.
Yeah.
he's outnumbered. Do you have a dog, too?
We do.
Is
we
it a
have, We
female?
have a male dog.
All right.
Oh, you have a
got
male
that
dog.
side. Mhm.
Balance it out.
Well, he's got a shot anyway.
He
did
demanded
something.
that. I need someone on my side. So, but it's great.
Were
He's
you,
very
were you both
supportive.
shy before this? And you know, because obviously you're out in front
Yeah.
of people, right? And
Yeah.
you're talking to people. You got great personalities. Were you, any of you, shy?
Neither one of
when
you
were
shy.
when you were growing up, or?
I don't think so. I think my parents did a great job of kind of getting us out of our shells. Every time you go into a room, you say hi to everybody, look people in the eye, shake their hand, have a conversation.
I think a lot has to do with being middle children.
Yeah.
I'm a
Really?
middle
Do you
child.
think?
Oh, absolutely.
Well, middle children are the best, but we might be partial.
Yeah. No, really. I think I really believe that. Middle children seem to be
Yeah.
the go-getters of the family.
Definitely.
I like that.
So you weren't shy.
Maybe more shy than I am now, because it definitely gives you confidence and teaches you how to speak with so many people, which is just so great. And I'm going to use that throughout my entire life. But So it definitely has helped with that, yes.
And yourself?
Yeah, I don't think I wasn't too shy. It's definitely helped me get out of my comfort zone even more so by, every time we do an interview or even in the pageant, preparing for the onstage question and the interview portion and just knowing, how to be ready for anything that comes your way, and that's just going to help better prepare me for the future. And I think that's great, and which is why it's great for any competitor and candidate that competes in the Miss America organization, because they have those skills regardless of if you win or not.
What do your fellow students think that you won? And
Good
That's
question.
a good question.
Good question.
My friends have been great about it.
Yep.
A lot of my friends are guys, so it's like I'm speaking a different language when I talk about
That's
it.
okay.
But they've been very supportive.
Now, why is it that most of your friends are guys?
Oh, I don't know. I think I've grown up with two sisters, so I have the girlfriends kind of covered at home. My best friend is Emily. She's a girl, but most of my guy friends, it's fun because they're so relaxed, and so it's just very easy to hang out with them.
So you're like a sister. They're like your brothers.
Definitely.
Extended family.
And boyfriends?
Oh, no, not right now.
No boyfriend?
No.
Focus on school, both of you.
Exactly.
Both of you.
Focus on Taylor.
What?
Boyfriend.
Oh, I do have a boyfriend, yes.
You do have a boyfriend.
I do.
He's become our personal chauffeur.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He is incredible. He took us to the Miss Connecticut competition.
Really?
Yeah, he's so amazing. So I'm really lucky to have someone who's so supportive.
And I'm sure your father had a conversation with him.
We've been dating for a year and a half. My dad loves him, yeah.
Your dad likes him. That's
Oh,
all.
yeah.
Your mom and dad
He's a
like him.
really great one.
So he passes that test.
He
That's all that
does,
matters,
yep.
so that's good.
Now, when you say you dance was your talent, what kind of dance?
Irish step dance.
That's right. That's right. I forgot that. Yes.
So I've competed for 10 years. I competed at the World Championships.
Really?
And then I was able to showcase my talent on the Miss Rhode Island stage, and now I'll be able to showcase it on the Miss America stage.
Wow. Now, that's kind of odd for a Portuguese girl to...
Oh, well. I'm Portuguese and Irish. I'm half and half.
Oh, well,
yeah.
I'm
you really
sorry.
You see the Portuguese, but
I see the
there's
Portuguese,
Irish.
well, the last name, too.
Yes.
Right.
But the dancing is Irish. Yeah, that's great.
The Irish, yeah. That's involved, that Irish step dance. That's a lot of movement.
It is a lot of work.
That's
There's a lot of discipline that goes into it.
Yes.
Where's the pageant going to be now? Where do you go on from
We
here?
don't know yet. That's what we're waiting
really?
for.
Big
Yes.
secret, huh?
So we're coming up on the 100th anniversary for Miss America, and they're going to be having it at, we think, at a different location, a different time. We're not sure yet because they haven't announced it. So they're going to do, a big reveal. We know it'll be live on NBC. And I'm just so excited to know when and where it'll be.
You better hope it's not like a few years ago. Talk about this for not very smart move. They had the pageant, the Miss, I don't know if it was USA or America, but one of those pageants, they had it in August in Phoenix.
Oh.
I mean, that makes a
Hottest
lot
time,
of
yeah.
sense.
Oh, my goodness.
120 in the shade.
So it's been 100 years then, right?
Almost, yep.
Wow.
It's the 99th year.
So is it fair to say the first woman, the first women that obviously competed looked like us, maybe? I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. A little levity, just a little.
Who was one of the first ones? Was it Beth Meyerson? Wasn't she?
Beth Meyerson, yeah, she was on some game. She
ones,
was on some game show too.
Yeah, Beth Meyerson.
It's just incredible to see how far it's come, and now I get to be in the sisterhood of the Miss Rhode Island. I've had dinner with a bunch of them, and it's so cool to hear their experiences, but also to have my own now this year.
That's great.
Yes.
Yeah.
What do you tell the younger young ladies that want to do what you did? What would you recommend to them if you were talking to a group of young ladies today? What would you tell them?
I would definitely tell them to become involved with pageants as soon as possible, because it is so much more than it seems, and it does help young girls become so empowered and inspired. It's just amazing to see the change that a lot of the girls take away from this pageant. So I would tell them to become involved right away.
Really, that's great. That's great. How old were you when you started getting involved?
This was my first pageant.
First time.
First
Wow.
pageant.
So
Okay,
you're
that's great.
17 or 16.
Yes.
16, right? And how old are you?
So this is my third year competing. I started
16?
competing for Miss Rhode Island at 18.
18.
Oh,
okay,
18.
Wow. Fantastic.
Wow.
Get your education, though. That's the most important thing.
Well, that's the biggest part of the Miss
Well, that's
America.
what you
We're
get
the
out of
leading,
the
the
pageant.
leading scholarship program.
Right? You
for
get
That's great,
scholarship
that's great.
money. Right?
So I got
right?
$5,000 for winning,
Excellent.
and from the additional awards, I got an additional $1,500. I'll get my master's from Salve Regina University. They're a sponsor.
Nice
And
school.
then also from going to Miss America, there are so many other opportunities for scholarship money.
That's great.
I know, that's the best part.
When I talk to young people about college, I say always get your degree first. If you want to get involved in politics, that's fine. Because once you get your degree, they can't take it away from you. I mean, I got 3 college degrees, not 4 as they say, my grandmother used to say. And, you know, they can't take them away from me. Even though I'm in politics and, you know, the degrees I have are in health, it doesn't really, you know, pertain to politics. But politics is public service, by the way, and which we all know.
Right.
So it's a way of giving back. And as I said, get your degrees first. If you get your bachelor's, go on and get your master's while you're in school. And once you're done,
and do it right away.
Yes.
Don't put it off, because take it from somebody that knows. You don't want to say, I'll put it off.
Don't stop.
Do it next year.
No, absolutely. A lot of people asked if I would take the year off. As Mr. Nye
Bad
said, no.
move.
Luckily, the school I go to, Endicott College, has been so accommodating in making sure we can rearrange my schedule so I can graduate on track, take the classes I need to, still focus on my education, and also enjoy my years at Mr. Island. So I'm so grateful for that, because obviously, because of the Miss America organization, I really
so you
love
must be
and
a
value my
celebrity at
education.
Endicott College, I would assume, right? No,
Right.
seriously.
Yeah, of
which
course
is great.
you
And
are.
you're
I
a
don't know why
celebrity,
it's a
obviously,
celebrity,
at
but
South
they're
Kingstown,
awesome.
right? You go to South Kingstown High School, right?
Yes, I do.
So you guys are both celebrities, obviously,
Yeah,
which is nice.
You
I mean,
guys are the
they have to,
stars.
yeah,
Come on, of course you are.
they have to be proud of you,
They are.
of course,
Absolutely.
because it's a lot of hard work. you
It
know?
is. There's a lot that goes into it. So.
Good, that's great.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Just don't forget us when you're famous.
That's
No,
right.
We'll come
we'll
back
be
when
sitting-
she wins Miss America's Outstanding Teen. We'll come back.
Yep.
We'll have another sit down.
We'll be sitting in the audience, right? Like, just, hey, remember us?
Yeah.
Get them
They'll be
2
like-
guys
You
on
guys
here.
can come with us.
Look at those weird guys over there. Those weird old men there.
We're glad to see, like you said earlier too, Bob, there's a lot of talent in Rhode Island, and we got talent right here
Right,
tonight.
right, exactly, exactly.
This is really good.
Now, did yours involve talent too?
Yes,
And-
it did. I did musical theater.
Musical theater. So what did you have to do? And did you have to?
So I sang a song from Newsies, and I was playing a female
that's
reporter who was
right.
writing a groundbreaking article. So I had a little typewriter out on a desk, and I was singing
How
and
cool is
playing with the
that?
typewriter.
You were singing while you were playing the. Was it an Underwood?
Underwood typewriter.
Yeah,
Or a royal. Or a royal.
or a Royal typewriter?
Did your colleagues at school say, what were you doing over there? What was that machine?
What was that thing? You actually had an old typewriter?
I did. It was from my mom's school's costume closet.
Wow.
Yeah. Was that an IBM Fluxmatic?
I
You
don't know.
Did it have the big keys, the big long keys, big long strided keys?
And the
Or-
It
ribbons
was. I
were
don't
the
believe
good
it
old
was too old. It seemed to be. I don't know. It seemed to be more of, I don't know, kind of an antique item rather than an actual typewriter from that time. I think it was more of just kind of decoration, but it was cool.
Yeah?
I don't want one.
You want one?
It was very cool. But for nationals, I'm singing something different. I'm singing a song from Chaplin.
Then how long have you been singing?
Ever since I was really little. I think I began musicals when I was 6 years old.
Wow.
And I just love it. I love being in musicals.
Really?
There's nothing like it.
No.
Do you bounce stuff off your siblings? Like
Oh,
for
no.
the, for the pageant? Yeah.
My siblings are not girly at all, really. They're both really into sports.
And how
So
about you?
Oh, yes. So my sister, definitely, she's been so supportive. She always picks out my opening number dress. That's
cool.
her area, and she's really helpful and very supportive.
Oh, Dad doesn't pick out your dress?
No, he's actually very good. Actually, I'll give him credit. He did help pick out my interview dress. We were deciding between 2, but my brothers, not so much. One of them came to the pageant, and I remember the first year I competed, the other one when I was first runner-up. My mom was like, "Oh, Ryan, tell Molly you said, congrats. She was first runner-up," and he's like, "You didn't win." Why would I say? And my mom was like, "Ryan!"
Wow.
And so, and he was, just a kid, but now 2 years later that I won, at first he was like, "Oh, So then he goes to school, and all his friends are like, "Oh my God, your sister, she's going to be
We
on
wanna
TV."
meet her. Yeah, right. Fantastic.
So then he comes back and he's like, I think me and my boys are going to go to Miss America. I'm like,
Wow.
I'm what?
No, it's a big
Yeah,
What a
now
change,
he's like,
what a
he goes,
change.
"Do I get to go with you when you go to these places?"
Wow.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." But they're all really supportive, so I'm really blessed with great siblings.
You have younger siblings, I think you said?
I have one younger sibling and one older sibling.
Boy or girl, the younger one?
Girl.
So you can
2
bounce
sisters.
things. Oh, so you're 2 sisters. So you can bounce things off your sisters, which is really cool.
Yes, definitely.
Probably had to twist your brother's arms to
Yeah.
bounce stuff off of him, right? Because they always say that's girly stuff.
Well, they'll tell me, they'll be like, "No, we don't like that."
Well, at least they're honest.
They
Right,
are.
yeah,
No, they're good.
Now, do you have any spare time? I'm going to leave you. This will probably be the last question. Your spare time. Do you have any spare time? And if you do, what do you do?
think you have to kind of schedule your spare time because we are very busy with appearances
That's what I was
and
gonna say.
preparation.
I'll bet you are.
You know, we do have a business manager, which we're so thankful of. You know, help make everything possible. But you
Now,
also
do you
have
have
to
the
make
same
sure
business
we
manager?
do. We
Oh,
do.
cool.
She's from the board, but we have to make sure that you do schedule time for yourself because it is so demanding, and you want to make sure that you do the year justice. But also, you have to be your best self to be able to do that. Sure. So, you know, sometimes I'll even schedule, you know, when I'm going to sleep or when I'm going to eat and see my friends. You know, just to have, you know, a balance of everything, because you want to make sure that, you know, you only get 1 year and that you make the most of everything, but also that you have fun, you take care of yourself, and remember that, you know, it's okay to, you know, make sure everything works. So it's definitely fun. You know, spare time is definitely essential, going for a walk on a beach or, you know, watching a TV show, but, you know, we try to pack everything in that we can.
Now do you have to be on a diet?
No, so
You don't
we
have
do
to
have a
maintain your
trainer.
weight or
So
anything
Scott's
like that?
Fitness. We just started with Scott's Fitness. They're our personal trainer, and he is so incredible about making sure that we understand how important it is to, you know, eat right, but also this is a lifestyle. It's not a crash diet. It's not to just look good for the pageant.
Right.
You need to know how, for the future, to take care of yourself. So we're really lucky to have great people around us.
Well, that's so
We-
cool.
We have an issue in this country too with childhood obesity too. People just don't. I don't think they know how to eat.
Right.
Eat the right things.
Right.
So I assume.
And they teach us how to do that.
And processed
They do.
food.
Right,
really.
and all the right nutrients and making sure you're eating the right things and the right portions and everything. So we are really lucky of people who are specialists in that area
We should
helping
teach
us.
that in school. Would you say in elementary school?
I think
to
they're
the young-
starting to implement it into health classes.
Well, that's
which is
good.
great.
They really should. They really
Well, look at what they've done. Like 30 years ago in school, they started having soda machines in
Yeah.
school. They started having
Hostess, Twinkies, all the good stuff.
yeah, all the
We
stuff
used to-
that
yeah.
that only going to make you fat. Soda especially.
Or it leads to
so-
diabetes. You know, a lot of
Right.
this food leads to diabetes. Besides obesity, diabetes, heart disease, and you know, that's people don't realize that. You know, they don't
Right.
realize. A lot of people, being a nurse, obviously, when I tell people, they kind of look at me funny. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. I've never had a drink of alcohol in my life. So I've never drank any
Wow.
alcohol at all in my life.
Right.
Yeah.
I tell people, imagine me if I was drunk. How bad?
Yeah,
it is.
that's what I tell people. I haven't had a drink since 1984.
Good for you. That's great. That's great. And it's funny because when I became a firefighter, I was like 19. Obviously, you know, we go out and get together, and I was a designated driver before there was
All
such
the
an
time,
before there was
Yeah.
such an identification. 'Cause
Yep.
I never drank.
Yep.
I never wanted to lose control, and I try to tell these young kids.
Absolutely.
And you guys could be role models when you talk to the young kids that, you know, especially you now because you're involved and you're speaking on obviously the hazards of drugs and so forth. Did you guys get involved in SAD, Students Against Drunk Driving, when you were in school? Did you?
We do.
Okay.
My sister's actually headed off to a national SAD conference in a couple
Really?
days.
Good for her.
My younger
Wow.
sister's becoming very involved with it too, so that's great.
That's excellent. Obviously, does she bounce questions off of you? And
Oh yes, definitely. It's like a partnership.
But you learn from each other, I would assume, right?
Definitely.
That's cool. That's really cool. Wow.
That's amazing. That's pretty amazing. It really is. You guys are great.
Yeah.
I mean, this
Oh,
has been
thanks.
a
So
great.
are you guys. Great co-hosts.
No, you got great personalities too, because sometimes people feel when they see someone with a crown, they're stuck up, they're snobby, and you guys are not. You got a great personality,
Right.
and you're very open, and you really know. The good thing is you know what you want to do in your future, and you know.
Claude, you have it together.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Both
Thank
of
you.
you. I mean,
Thank
so
you.
young.
Get your college degrees first, though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What kind of politics do you think you'd like to get into? I'm asking that as a mayor and a former senator.
Well, my ultimate goal would be to be the governor of Rhode Island. That's
Okay, that's cool.
my
Wow.
big aspiration.
That's
we'll
cool.
see, but you know, it's all about the journey, and we'll see where I go from here. But
How about
I'm excited.
yourself?
I'm definitely drawn to international relations, something to do with foreign affairs. But I also
You
think
wanna be the
intelligence is very cool. That would be
How about
awesome.
an
She can be president, I'll be
ambassador?
the vice
How about an ambassador?
Ambassador, that would be
That
amazing.
would, yeah, that seemed to me like your.
Yeah. I haven't decided yet. I still want to try some things out, see where I would really fit in, but I know that it would be something with the government and something with foreign affairs, hopefully.
You never know if you go to going to the FBI Academy, you never know,
Right.
maybe something like that, or
Right.
you know,
Head of a department. head of-
Secret Service and so forth. You know, a few years back, Hillary Clinton came to Johnston, and I got to he didn't say much because he was a Secret Service guy, and I got to talk to him. And he was from Boston. They really have their act together. Those the guys and gals,
Absolutely.
Right.
they're very disciplined. I spoke to a woman too. they got their eye on the prize, which the prize was obviously Hillary Clinton. That's what they do to protect her. But you respect those men and women because at any time something could happen, especially.
Well, they're shields.
Yes,
They're
absolutely.
shields.
Yes, they are.
They're to lay their life
Yeah.
down for the President of the United States. And I had a former Secret Service guy on the set
On the
2
show?
weeks ago.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's now the head of the state police.
Oh, okay, yes.
Manny, Jim Manny,
Yeah.
the now director or the superintendent of the state police, Colonel Manny, Jim Manny, worked for several years.
Was it for Bush?
Yes, Bush and Reagan.
Right, right.
And Reagan, he was a Secret Service guy before he was a cop, a local cop. He was in the Secret Service. I mean, it's unbelievable to some of the
It is what
stories
they
these
do,
guys
yeah.
tell you.
And there are women in the Secret Service. See, I always tell the kids too, obviously women can do anything men can do.
Absolutely.
No doubt about it. I mean,
100%.
and I speak from a position where when I went to nursing school in the early 80s,
You were probably one of the very few men.
I was a skunk at a lawn party, I guess. There was only
You were the
about
what?
A skunk at a lawn party. I was not, obviously being a male, there was I think 5 or 6 of us, male nursing students. And after a couple of years, when we graduated a few years later, there was I think 2 of us left. We lost 50%.
Really?
So yeah. But I always tell women can be anything. They can be firefighters. They can be nurses, politicians, anything. They can, and some women do it better than men do. To be quite frank with you, I'm serious. So, and I've worked with women all my life as far as working in in the nursing field, and I've worked with some really good shop nurses, and that really when it was an emergency, they stepped right in. So don't.
I've always preferred women
Well,
my whole life.
when I became a firefighter, there weren't any women on.
Right.
And they just started coming obviously on, and the women firefighters are just as good as men firefighters.
Now, you have a few in Johnston. Right?
Yes, we do, and they're excellent. They really do a great job. We've got a couple of women on rescue, and quite frankly, I would trust my life in their hands any day of the week because they're really sharp, no nonsense, and they get the job done.
Right.
They really do. Really do. A lot of people say, well, there's drama. There's no drama. When they're working as firefighters,
working.
police officers, there's no drama. They get the job done. So don't let anyone ever tell you you can't
do
something.
Absolutely.
No matter what career you choose. I mean that sincerely.
Thank
I mean that sincerely.
Yeah. So what do you think of your first?
Well, this was nice. I mean, and you had
Shot
and you made it easy because you had great guests that were very articulate. No, seriously.
Yep.
Sometimes you got to pull questions out of people.
Oh, that's
you
the
know
toughest
that.
thing.
You know
Oh
that.
my God, nothing like doing a show
For an hour.
For an hour, with especially that's why I don't usually do just one guest because if that guest is a stiff, it's a long hour. I did a show one time. And I told the person to make me a list of questions, right? And they gave me the list of questions, and because I didn't know the person, so I had to do it that way. I gave him the list of questions. He gave me the list of questions, and I'm going through the questions, and I'm asking him, and every answer was between 1 and 4 words.
Yes, no, maybe.
I had 11 questions. 11 or 12 questions, and there was still 50-something minutes left.
Wow. That hurts.
And I said, listen, I only got a couple more questions, and if you don't start
Expound.
talking,
Elaborating.
a little bit about this, what we're talking about, I mean, this is the reason why you're here. That's the reason why you wanted to come on the show.
Sure.
We're going to have a problem. And I'll give you another one. Speaking of 11 questions, just brought to mind, I had a Miss Rhode Island here one time. She was going to school in New Hampshire. Father went to pick her up. Father was sitting right over here. We had a couch here. He's sitting right over here, and he says, the girl, she had 11 questions, and I gave her 10 of the questions. She answered 10 of the questions. Oh, what her hobbies, all the kinds. Actually, her hobby was the only question I didn't get to, right? The show ended because I had other guests. He stormed up to me. I thought he was going to hit me. I went up to New Hampshire, picked my daughter up. I expected to do an hour. I says, I had 11 questions. I did 10 of them. What was I going to do? If I had her for the whole hour, she got 8 minutes. If I had her for the whole hour, we would have been lost after 9 minutes. We were in the 9th minute, never mind 59 minutes.
It's tough.
And he left, and then about 20 minutes later, he stormed back in again. He was not happy.
Well, it happens.
Well, thank you, Mayor, for stopping by.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me as your co-host. It was an honor. It
Mayor
really was. Thank
Joe
you.
Polisena and our guest, Miss Outstanding Teen from South Kingstown
Yeah.
High
Parente.
School. Huh?
Yes.
Carolyn?
Caroline Parente.
Parente. You said it's Italian, huh?
Yes, it is.
Parente's Italian.
Absolutely.
And Molly Andrade is an Irish Portuguese girl from Middletown, Rhode Island. And congratulations, both of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having
And
us.
You were very impressive.
Thank you.
Very
Thank you.
impressive. And it was great to have you here tonight.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And folks, thanks for watching An Hour with Bob. Until next time.